Good morning.
Oh, hi, Paul.
This is all very high tech for me. I was trying to work out what was going on.
I know, I know. Well, I had very bad technical difficulties yesterday. I was like sharing my calendar and all these sorts of things, but this morning's going quite well.
Good.
How are you doing, Paul?
Yeah, all good. I'm excited. Very excited.
Yay! I know, I'm very excited because we've been chatting for a while and I've been learning all about Burger King. And it is definitely not what I thought. So I'm excited for you to kind of share to everyone what it means to work at Burger King.
Yeah.
So do you want to start by just introducing yourself and maybe telling us a bit about Burger King UK? Like, who are
Yeah.
you?
Well, first of all, so my name's Paul. Obviously, you've done my intro already, so you've stole a bit of my thunder. But I'm the senior
Sorry.
talent acquisition partner for Burger King UK. So what does that mean? So I look after all things recruitment and kind of bordering into talent, really. So anybody sort of joining the business, I wouldn't recruit every single person. Otherwise, I think that would be a never-ending job. But I definitely oversee kind of how we recruit as a business, how we're attracting talent to our business, and I work with the training team to understand how we ultimately develop talent within our business as well. I've been with Burger King UK for gosh now four years. Um, Prior to that, so I worked in a recruitment agency where I used to recruit within hospitality. So all the kind of standard guys, well, Five Guys, Nando's, Byron, you name it, I've probably supported with them at some point, but been with Burger King now for 4 years. And Burger King, it's funny, isn't it? Because we always say, let me tell you a little bit about Burger King, and people are probably thinking, well, I know Burger King, I see them all the time. We are Burger King UK, so we have 300 Burger Kings that we own and operate. There's an additional around sort of 250 that work as a franchise. So there's about just shy of 600 Burger Kings within the UK
Wow.
market at the moment. So it's
God.
quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I joined, we had 150 Burger Kings that we owned and operated. So within that 4 year period, we've massively expanded kind of our business in terms of our estate through new restaurant openings, but also we've bought back franchisees who are looking to sell for whatever reason and grew the estate that way as well.
No, that's amazing. And I think, with the growth of Burger King, I think what's exciting about Burger King is that you are a creative brand, even though you're fast food and, people might think you as more of a consumer hospitality thing. Um, your brand is really cool and creative, like some of the campaigns that you do. So do you want to talk a bit about what makes Burger King such a creative brand?
Yeah, and I think this is. I was speaking to some of the guys in marketing because I would love to say that I'm the visionary behind all the creatives, but I absolutely am not. But in terms of the brand, I think what I love about the business and I guess the creative element is we're kind of not scared to ruffle a few feathers. With fast food or quick service restaurants, that market is really competitive. There's a lot of new people on the market, so we always want to make sure that we're staying kind of ahead of the curve, getting people excited about our brand, whether that be, how we're promoting we call them limited time offers. So you'll probably be more familiar with like the new Wagyu burger, right? Like from Gordon Ramsay, or not by Gordon Ramsay, I should say. So we get quite creative in how we're pushing our brand as well. I do have some examples actually that I want
Yes. Oh my gosh, I want to
to
see them.
show.
Yeah.
So fine. So I'm an absolute Teams person through and through. So I'm gonna try and work out how I can
If
share my
there's
screen.
a big share button in the middle.
Just make sure I'm sharing the right screen. So I'll do content only, and then so you guys, right? I appreciate it's in PowerPoint, so it might not look as
Perfect. Yeah.
so. Yeah,
No, we can see.
these are just some examples that we've done from a marketing perspective, so I can give a bit of commentary around. I think I've got about 5, 7 slides on here. Do you want me to whiz through them?
Yeah, no, this is great.
So, right, so this is the most recent one, which hopefully most people have seen. There was a big TV campaign. So it's our Wagyu burger, which we actually managed to get Gordon Ramsay involved. And the whole premise behind it was that it's not made by Gordon, which, if any of you guys know, he is really famous for the burger that he created. I think, did he create it with Harrods? I should probably know this, but I think he did a really upscale burger, and now, obviously, the whole play on this was the fact that actually this one isn't created by Gordon, but it's available to the masses. If anybody hasn't tried it,
It's
try it.
good.
It's
Is
really
it?
good. It's really
It
good.
looks delicious. Yeah, salivating.
Yeah, but yeah, our food development director, I mean, he's, he kind of walked us through it and we all got to try it, but it's a really, I would highly recommend it. So that's one of our most recent campaigns, and we were able to obviously get that celebrity endorsement in there, which is great. But a couple of other examples, we actually did this campaign. I'm just going to let this one sink in for a little while, right? So this
So
was actually
good.
something that we pulled together because apparently one of the things that people crave after giving birth is fast food, apparently, according
Oh,
to market research. So we did a whole big campaign around, speed of service and what people are craving. So it was I can't remember exactly the name for it, but essentially you get the vibe here, right? So the,
yeah.
the, the lady's just given birth and she wants a burger. I'm not sure if I know anyone who's actually done this, but apparently it's a thing. So that was one thing we wanted to capitalize on.
Love that.
But some of the more kind of controversial stuff, which we might kind of find funny, is obviously McDonald's and Burger King. So they launched their big arch burger a few months back, and we literally wheeled in.
Oh, sorry, that's wheeled in. I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wheeled in every in front of their kind of campaign for it. And it's a bit of banter really. So it's arch nemesis, hunger clowns. Sorry, for hunger clowns can't satisfy.
yeah.
So again, it's a play on that because I think one thing that Burger King is known for from a product perspective is you always feel full after a Burger King, and I think sometimes with McDonald's, maybe you should feel full for the amount of calories in it, but yeah, it doesn't always have that kind of same effect. So that's one thing we wanted to play on. And more recently, I think they've launched their pineapple McSpicy, which I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about pineapple in my burger, but that's just a personal preference. But
Oh no, I
again,
love it.
this
Love
is not, do
pineapple.
you? Oh, really? So I'm not a pineapple on pizza kind of guy, so I'm not sure how I feel about it. But again, this is some of our socials and just really simple stuff that kind of gets people talking about our brand. A couple of others. Now, these are a couple of years old now, but obviously we all remember the kind of Boris Johnson Partygate inquiry. So we really capitalized on that. So this really was a cover of the Metro. So obviously that was front page news. We actually took out the advert for the other half saying there's no smoke without fire. So we were absolutely playing on this
Oh
whole
wow.
Partygate. And what the team actually managed to do was they wheeled this sign outside of 10 Downing Street saying, turns out there's such a thing as too many Whoppers.
Love it.
So yeah, it
And
just
it's quite
hopefully
reactionary. You've got to be quite quick at these things.
massively agile, really kind of keeping an ear to the ground, what's going on, what's going to work, what do we think could land well. There has been some that haven't landed as well. I think I mentioned to you there was a campaign we wanted to attract more females into the business, and so when I come up with a campaign that didn't quite land well around getting people back, getting women back in the kitchen, but it didn't land well, but actually we were really agile with it and we learned from that. But I think a lot of it is a real testament to Katie Evans, who's our kind of chief marketing officer, and she's behind this.
Yeah.
One slide that I did want to just flash up because this will kind of lead into what we're going to talk around with our people. So I've actually been really heavily involved in lots of new imagery for our careers website. So all of this is coming out. We took people from restaurants, and this is just one of the pictures that we've got. So this is how we include our people in that creative process. So we've got 40 images now. We had a full photo shoot, and this is hopefully to kind of reflect the culture of our brand and what we're all about. So this is I threw this in last minute, May, as a bit of a
Yeah,
sneak
love
peek.
that. No, brilliant. And that's it. I think what's so fun about Burger King is you are risk takers, and I think you don't really get that anymore, really, with brands. Everyone's so scared to take a risk.
Well, I think the M&S and Aldi kind of vibe. I always see a bit of that banter going on. I think that's kind of the way we're going. But it's all a bit of fun, and we don't take ourselves too seriously
Yeah.
in that sense as well.
And that really brings, I think, everything in, into the culture. So, talking about, I guess, entry level or like, I think what we were saying before is everyone just thinks fast food is part-time job, something a bit, not that
Yeah.
serious. So, talk about the career progression at Burger King.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to kind of build on what you were just saying there, I remember a couple of years ago, a few years ago now, actually, we did an in-person job fair. I believe it was with I should know this. It was around Milton Keynes. It was with colleges, and we had kind of the Burger King stand, and we had all of our branding and stuff. And what I was hearing is people walking by the stand, and they were like, "Oh, that's where you're going to end up working if you don't do well in your exams." And I thought, okay, we probably need to like change the narrative here,
Yeah.
and it is still there ultimately. It's that old kind of, oh, you're going to end up flipping burgers kind of mentality. But, I think, there's some really exciting stories around people who have been incredibly successful within our business. And I think one of our biggest selling points within this climate is actually we don't have any barrier to entry. You would join the business, let's say, as a crew member. We don't need somebody to have degrees or anything like that, but what we are looking for is somebody who can come and showcase the right behaviors. And
Mm.
actually, if you are able to showcase those right behaviors, and what I mean by that is, that kind of willingness to learn, eagerness, that's the stuff you can't teach. We can teach you how to make a Whopper, and we can ultimately teach you how to run a really successful business as you progress through the company as well. So there's lots of different paths. I mean, did you want me to talk a little bit about kind of how that trajectory would work?
Yeah, and maybe use one of the examples
Yeah.
that you were telling me about before. But I think like you said, it's like, everyone's had a part-time job. Like I had a part-time job, but that's where you learn the soft skills. That's where you learn the
Yeah.
basic skills.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
how you learn to actually work with people in a
yeah,
professional capacity. And I think that's something that you have to just get through experience. It's very different to being in education.
no,
We
100%.
have a really simple, I guess, sort of structure within our restaurants. So we would have crew member, which would be an entry level role. You would then move up to crew shift trained, which what that would mean is that you're still a crew member, but actually you're trained to actually run a shift. And it's that first step into management because you're not being in that management role all the time, but actually we're teaching you those skills to be accountable, lead the team, run the restaurant at times. The next step to that would obviously be assistant manager, where you move on to kind of a salaried role, and it's a little bit more of an ask because you're accountable for that restaurant when the restaurant manager is not there. In some restaurants, we would have kind of an elevated assistant manager role, which is mainly for our bigger sites that take a lot of money. Then the natural next step would be restaurant manager. So it's really kind of it's not a huge, you don't have to jump through a lot of hoops, but actually we've got a lot of modules within our training program to help you get from A to B because I think where some people feel it's can be frustrating is, you join the business and it's like, actually, I want to be a manager within 6 months' time. It can sometimes take a little bit longer. However, we do have stories around, I think I've talked to you, May, on a couple of times around, one of our regional managers who runs an area of, I think it's about 12 to 14 restaurants in the Northeast. She's in her mid 20s and she started as a crew member when she was, I think it's still sort of in her late teens. So whilst it's never going to be an overnight thing, because obviously we want to make sure that we're giving you all the skills and the experience to kind of be successful. It's not going to be a 20-year plan by the time you're running your own restaurant.
That
Another,
is a lot of that's a challenge at the moment. I think that a lot
yeah,
of people are facing is that where is that career progression? And a lot of companies they start working and there isn't that much career progression.
yeah.
Whereas,
And
yeah, I think it's
the
really,
career
yeah,
progression is defined. I think it's not something that's just handed out. I think you need to be able to demonstrate the right behaviors, and
yeah,
that's something where people might fall down. It's kind of like, well, actually, this is what I want. But if you're not demonstrating the behaviors, and what I mean by I keep going back to behaviors, but it's that willingness to learn, that openness to kind of try new things, be curious and be willing to kind of learn. That's the key thing. Um, yeah, I think one of the things that we've implemented, so we have an internal kind of development program, career pathway, so to speak, called Ignite. Again, you'll see that everything's a play on like some kind of flame, right? So what we implemented that back in March, and anybody who joins the business will be able to say, right, I wanted to develop. There's lots of self-led learning on this platform. Your manager's involved, so it's really, really clear how you can get from A to B to C to D. One thing actually, which might be worth mentioning, is we've also implemented something called Next Role Ready. So that's a massive thing because what we're actually allowing people to do is to go onto our training platform and actually say, I want to be next role ready. So as soon as they say, I want to be next role ready, that sends the manager alert, the training team are aware of it. So there's almost kind of like no place to hide. If you're saying that you want it, we can give you the tools. And that really eliminates a lot of things around, well, they've worked here for 5 years, so they're going to be the next assistant manager. Really, it depends on who's demonstrating the right behaviors and the willingness at the right time. So we're finding that that will speed up the process for people who are demonstrating those right behaviors.
And you were saying with the example that the girl that is now, she's in her mid-20s,
Yeah. Regional manager.
regional
Yeah.
manager, and you were saying it is a good salary as well, and she's got
Yeah.
a company
Yeah.
car.
Yeah, I mean, our salaries are on all the vacancies that you'll see. So if we advertise a regional manager role, I believe you're looking at sort of around sort of 50 to 55,000 a year plus car, plus bonus, plus package. That's no
Yeah.
secret because it's on all of our adverts. But that is a pretty decent salary to be earning in your mid-20s. And yeah, I think
Yeah.
people can be quite short-sighted and they might see the hourly rate at the first point. It's like, but
Yeah.
that's your first ring on the ladder. So look at it as an entry point rather than, well, this is where I'm going to be forever. Because that's definitely
Totally.
not the case.
And I think, we're talking about the once you're in Burger King, then you can go to different departments like the marketing department or your department, the talent team, and that's
Yeah,
kind of, there's so
yeah.
again so many opportunities across the organization as well.
Yeah, and look, a big thing for us is around internal pipelining. So if we look at restaurants, I mean, the restaurants is the bulk of our business. With 300 restaurants, we've got one head office. So, we're aiming to kind of look at 70% of our management roles being filled internally. So that, the conversations that I have with all of the hiring managers is like, right, who have we got external? We've got a new restaurant opening. Our COO is really kind of big on, we don't want to open a new restaurant with a brand new manager, mainly because they're still learning the business and opening a new restaurant. So, we're always saying, right, where's that talent? But to your point, May, we've had some really, great success with people moving away from restaurants into different areas of the business. So quite recently, we've had someone move from restaurants to our new openings team in the south. So part of their role now is about, okay, how do we open new restaurants successfully, and working with the team. So yeah, it's there's a lot of possibilities. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily just that crew member job.
No, I love that. And I think that's why I'm so excited to talk to you today, because and hopefully today everyone has just changed that perception of what maybe they think Burger King is. So what is your best advice to stand out in applications for a young person? Because you probably see CVs all the time.
Yeah, and look, at crew member level, I mean, obviously it depends on the location. It depends on time of year actually as well, because we often get an influx when people, schools are finished for the summer and Christmas and so on. My best advice would say, look, get your application in. However, it could be the case that for one restaurant, we might have 300 crew member applications at certain times. So if I'm being honest, I would say just, do it old school. Go into the restaurant. If you've sent your application, you can go in and say, look, I have submitted an application. I'm really keen to work for the business, and just do a bit of a little sell, really. Some of the things to be mindful of, though, which I think is really key, is think realistically. Can I get to that restaurant for my shift? If it's like over an hour away and you're relying on parents to drive you, I can tell you from experience that's gonna burn out really, really quickly. And that's how a hiring manager is going to think, are they going to be realistically able to get there? What are the bus routes like? What's public transport like? So think about it logically. If you're confident that that's a logical fit for you, then get your application sent in and go into the restaurant and ask to speak to the manager. I'm telling you, it will put you forefront of their mind.
I love that fact. Yeah, that's so good. So find your local Burger King if you're walking
Yeah.
past one all the time.
Yeah, but make sure you've done your application first, because I imagine obviously for certain compliance, we want to make sure that we can't
Yeah,
take physical CVs anymore. It's not like when I was younger and
right.
there'd be a
Yeah.
pile next to the till. Laws have changed. But actually, I don't think there's any harm in saying, I've had it in my application. You should have it on your portal. I just wanted to come down in person to say, I want to meet you. And I think that would put
Yeah.
you ahead of the park.
And here are some marketing ideas that I came up with.
Yeah, 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 yeah. This is why I love Burger King.
And finally, Paul, what do you love most about working for Burger King UK?
Do you know, I have to, I mean, from my personal experience, I have to say the people. The people are great. The culture of the business is great. I've made some great friends, but ultimately the people that I get to work with day in, day out. And, I'm dealing directly with, say, 23 regional managers. Don't get to meet as every single restaurant manager as much as I would like, but, lots of amazing people within the company. And then, in my team within the people team, great people. So it's got to be the people. And I would be an absolute liar if I didn't say I like to discount Burger King every now and then.
Yes, Paul was saying you get a high discount, high
70% discount. So if anybody,
70%
if that
discount.
could twist your arm, 70% discount, and that's across all levels as well. And you can actually use it for up to five friends or family. You
Oh,
can use it twice a day.
amazing.
So if you want to take your mates out for a very because 70%, I mean, you're looking at getting a burger for like £2.
Yeah.
So it's not bad.
Wow. Well, hopefully we're now friends, Paul, and
Yeah.
oh, well, thank you so much. The time is up already. I know it goes so quickly. But really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Paul. And yeah, I'm sure you're going to have lots of people getting in touch with you now. Yeah, if you don't mind, people will probably
No,
on LinkedIn.
absolutely. And if I can point you in the right direction, I absolutely will. Obviously, it depends on the needs of the business and where we're recruiting at the moment. Our careers website is always a great place to check out. But if
Yes.
anybody has any questions, let me know.
Yeah. Amazing. I'll put that in the chat as well, just so everyone has that link.
Awesome. Thanks,
Um,
mate.
but amazing. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. Speak soon. Bye.
Bye.